in the state of Pennsylvania are using a hate crime law in order to trump up charges against minorities who say things that offend the cops. Now, this has happened on several occasions, and it was done through an investigation by an organization known as Appeal. They found that in 2016 alone, there were at least 4 cases where individuals had their charges increased because of this hate crime law, and it was simply because they had offended the cops. So I'll give you one of the examples. Police in Pennsylvania are using the state's hate crime statute called ethnic intimidation, defined as malicious intention toward the race, color, religion, or national origin of another individual or group of individuals against people who direct vitriol at them, right? So Robbie Sanderson, a black man, is one of those people. He's 52 years old, and he's from North Carolina, but was in Pennsylvania at the time. He was arrested for retail theft in Crafton, a small town near Pittsburgh. Now, while he was getting arrested, he started calling the cops all sorts of names. He referred to them as Nazis, skinheads, and Gestapo. He also told one of the officers, according to the officer, by the way, Brian Tully, that he was going to find his wife and have sex with her.
That's funny. There's no way that's not funny.
I mean, that's not.
Did he phrase it like that? I am going to find your wife and have sex with her.
That actually would
Take
scare
that.
me more. Like, wait, this guy seems like he's intent on doing
not
this.
a hate crime, it's a love crime.
Exactly what I was gonna say. You took the words out of my mouth.
Okay, but the cops got very upset about it, okay? And so they decided to use this, Pennsylvania hate crime law to allege that he was committing a hate crime. Although the shoplifting had nothing to do with any type of racial bias or bigotry or anything like that. So ethnic intimidation increases the penalty for a crime by making the grading one step higher than the underlying alleged bias motivated offense, right? So let's say in this case, your charge is shoplifting. If it's a misdemeanor, they'll up the charge to something more serious if they accuse you of a hate crime. They are using laws that were meant to protect minorities to further, criminalize minorities.
Of course they
insane.
are. And by the way, this is one of the reasons why I was against these hate crimes. And so, look, we've had that debate a million times on the show, and I get the reasons why to do it, but once you start criminalizing some forms of speech, first of all, the powerful are going to use it against you, and that was one of my concerns. And here we are. Now it's a hate crime to say things against cops.
This is
cops are not a thing. Like cops are a profession. They're not a protected class. They're not a type of person.
Apparently,
it's a job.
Unless apparently in Pennsylvania, being a giant snowflake is a protected class.
The words they used were Nazi, skinhead, and Gestapo. They weren't saying anything about this is your race, I'm tired of this. This is not the spirit of the law. Yeah, it probably hurt their feelings. They felt like they were being jerks, but that's no reason to escalate a criminal offense.
You guys are cops.
So
You're cops. You're supposed to be like the toughest guys out there. You're putting your life at risk every day, going out there protecting people. You're gonna get your feelings hurt by some dude that you're arresting who's saying that he's gonna have sex with your wife. I get it. It's offensive, but let's move on. He's not actually gonna have sex with your wife.
Shut the F up, Robbie. That's what you say, and then you say, really, you're gonna have sex with my wife from prison? I doubt it, because that's where you're spending the night, and then you leave him in the car for 3 minutes.
Or just put him in prison.
No, I'm saying, but there's all kinds of ways. I get it. You get to interact with him. No one says you have to be super nice to everybody.
Right.
We just say you can't tase him, you can't hit him, and you can't charge him with a hate crime that's designed for something completely else. To show, I'm with Cenk. I don't like hate crime legislation. I don't think when somebody beats up a Jewish kid because he's Jewish, you charge him with the full force of the law for that assault. That's enough. I think it is a dangerous slope to get into what people are thinking at the time they commit this offense to make it more of a crime.
Also, how far will this go, right? So if everyone looks the other way and kind of allows the cops to increase charges or give people additional charges with hate crime laws, so if you're protesting the behavior of your local police department, can they charge you with a hate crime? So let's say that some agitator shows up and causes trouble and a bunch of people get arrested. Are you gonna be charged with a hate crime in the state of Pennsylvania if they decide that they're going to refer to this law.
It sounds like if the people, what was the name of the town? Crafton?
Crafton, yeah.
Crafton. Yeah, if you do the tender, easily hurt feelings of the police officers in Grafton, yeah, it sounds like you could be. If they find one thing to charge you with, but like something like you didn't have the permit for the protest. So they charge you with that, and then they raise it a level because you used the phrase Gestapo to protest the police. I mean, it's obviously, as the ACLU says, it's obviously an infringement on free speech.
Yeah, the ACLU said it's essentially pushing people to punishing people for disrespecting police officers, which I've told you is not a crime anywhere in the country, but is in reality the biggest crime in America. Because if you disrespect a police officer, they're gonna find a way to charge you. And not only that, now they're gonna use hate crimes to double charge you. And the absurdity of this applying it to professions is insanity. So if you're at Occupy Wall Street, or you're part of the Tea Party and you're protesting the Wall Street crimes and the bailouts, and you say those are robber barons, ooh, that was hateful, you use the word robber. Okay, that's a hate crime against Wall Street, off you go to prison. I mean, this is crazy. And I get it, for the people who are in favor of hate crimes, they say intent is part of other crimes as well, and that's why they think that it makes sense. We were worried that the powerful would use it and they against the powerless, they are now. And look, and there's absurd ones and there's ones that make sense, but even those are now perverted. So let me explain, 2 more examples real quick. One guy called a cop a Gandhi mother effer. I don't know if the cop was Indian or if the cop was overly peaceful. I don't know what the intent of that curse was.
Maybe the cop is actually quite violent, and it was offensive to call him peaceful.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if he had some other relation to the Mohandas. Okay, but that is not a hate crime. That's insane to call that a hate crime.
We don't even know which Gandhi.
Right, could have been Indira. And one woman, presumably a minority, said, "Death to all you white bitches." Okay.
By the way, that was a woman who had called to report a crime and got increasingly frustrated that the cops weren't like hearing her out or something, and so they weren't even investigating her for committing a crime. She's the one who called the cops. Now, with that said, yeah, don't say disrespectful things, I guess. But even so, even if you do, it's not a crime. It's not a crime.
Being inappropriate to a police officer is not a crime.
Yeah.
Unless you're like flashing him or her or something.
Saying inappropriate words to a police officer.
Right. Look, that's the one that comes closest if you actually believe in hate speech, etc. But the point was to protect minorities who are powerless. It wasn't like, and if there was a jurisdiction where black people are incredibly powerful and they're beating up on white people, then it would protect white people, right? Yep. But not cops who are already really, really well protected and their feelings. So I thought the right wing was interested in facts and not feelings, but come to find out, apparently not. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.